What's up, everyone? John here with Motivation Theory, running with a quick update, kind of a recap of my JFK 50 finish this past weekend. Everything went as planned, went well. Super excited to have finished my third, 1, 2, 3 JFKs. It has been 5 years since I completed it last. Strange how quickly time can go by, but it had been 5 years. I completed in 2014, 15, and now 2021. Beautiful day, super cold. It was in the 20s in the morning, and it always is kind of cold. Not is kind of, it is always very cold. The struggle with the JFK is getting out there when it's in the 20s, and then it heats up and you got to kind of dress accordingly. And it is cumbersome to carry a lot of different stuff to layer. But I recommend if you go there to be very aware of how much you're going to heat up, what you are comfortable with, at what temperature, what type of clothing and stuff, so you don't overheat or underdress. So like I said, it was in the 20s at the beginning of the race, got up to about 48. It was sunny, beautiful. The wind wasn't too bad. I couldn't have asked for a better day. It was absolutely gorgeous out, a perfect day to run. My favorite type of day to run is cold. In the mid to low 40s is perfect. And that's what it was most of the day, so I was right in my zone and felt great. So with this race, basically, and I was kind of undertrained the last 3 months going into this race, so I was just going to pick a pace that I thought I can maintain through the mountains, obviously. Felt great, got the fastest through to Weaverton Cliffs I'd ever done before. I got there about 3.5 hours. That's fast I'd ever gone through that section. It really clogs up. I could probably do that section maybe 15 to 20 minutes faster if it weren't for all the congestion, but that's part of the race. When you're in the mid-pack section, you're going to get clogged up in certain parts, but that's fine. It kind of slows you down and keeps you honest as you get dumped out onto the C&O Canal. So that session, I felt really good when I came out of it. Got to the C&O Canal and then just settled in for the next 5.5 hours of my run-walk pattern that I was doing. I wasn't doing any kind of intervals through set time. It was mostly by feel, run 100, 200, 300, 400 yards, walk a little bit, do the same thing. Just kept doing that over and over and over again, just trying to maintain a kind of a steady pace that was averaging out below 13 miles per minute on the minutes per mile on the C&O Canal. And it did that, fueled, maintained my hydration and fueling the whole time. Never hit a bonking. Never hit. Usually around mile 38, I start feeling pretty badly just because I get behind. I don't feel like eating. Absolutely forced myself early in the race to eat, to maintain my nutrition plan that I was going to be doing, the amount of calories I need to be taking in, and I did that. And it worked out fine. It worked out really, really well. Even though this wasn't my fastest race, this was my second fastest race. Finished in 11:20 something, and slower than I would want to, but basically based on my volume of training the last 3 months, it was right there. But I do know, had I pushed a little harder, I probably could have PR'd this race, and that's kind of hard to take in. But it's really not that big of a deal to me. I'm going to be training hard this year, and I think I'm going to really go after it next year. But being undertrained that last 3 months, I was just trying to make sure that I didn't get myself into the wheels falling off scenario, and then I'm in the struggle bus for way too long. I didn't want to do that, but I stayed steady and maintained pace. I met up with a guy named Isaac, great guy, around 25. We actually came off Weaverton Cliffs. He's in the video that I'm editing right now. I'm editing the full race video. That will be coming out here soon. We just started leapfrogging back and forth. He mentioned, hey, do you want to kind of team up? And we did. We just it helped to pass time talking and just sticking with pushing ourselves down the C&O Canal, because it does get monotonous. And in the future, I'd like to be able to run that in about 4.5 hours instead of 5 or 5.5, just to speed things up and try to break 10 next year. I'm hoping to get closer to 10 next year with some training, and I honestly think I can do that pretty easily. But let me make sure I hit all my stuff. Never bonked. Run, walk, super important out there. And if you can run the whole thing, more power to you. The volunteers were on point. The race was run really well. The aid stations were fantastic. This year, I don't know if it's because it's fresh in my memory, but it seemed like the best out of the 3 years I've been there. And it's always been great, but this year just seemed especially great. Everybody was extra cheery, and super supportive. I can't say enough about all the volunteers at the aid stations and the people cheering you on through the course of this race. You will see that in the video, that post. I've filmed a ton in this. The first time I've ever filmed the JFK in a race for this channel, so you'll get to enjoy that here soon. I'm editing about halfway done right now. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And for those of you who have never run the JFK, you'll get to see what it's about. And for those of you who have run the JFK, you'll get to reminisce on the good times you have if you've not filmed it yourself. Bathrooms were awesome. They're everywhere, especially at the start. Sometimes they're sparse at certain races. Tons of bathrooms up near Beansboro High School where you park, and then when you walk down, they're everywhere. So that was fantastic. Aid stations, like I said, were great. The volunteers everywhere were great. The search and rescue and the medics or EMT, whoever, and all the red jackets. There were a lot of people who kind of went down on the AT and got hurt. They were all over it. They were getting quickly to people and helping them out. So that was fantastic to see. I've never seen it in the volume of people getting hurt as I have this year. I don't know if it's just because of where I was or just happened to be that type of year. There's a lot of leaves covering the rocks, and it's very, very rocky on the AT. Again, you'll see that in the video. It is treacherous out there. You really have to be tunnel vision for hours. I mean, you can't look up. I mean, every time, once in a while, I would look up or turn around to kind of talk to somebody, and I'd stub my toe or something. Like it's pretty dangerous up there, and you have to be vigilant about looking at your feet and watching your foot placement up there. It's no joke. And I want to say a special thanks to Sage, my friend. She was previously a second place winner, second place in the JFK, I think maybe like 2013. Great athlete, great person. She paced me one year. I think unbeknownst to her, she was going to be in for the long haul with me as somebody who could probably finish the race faster than the amount of time she paced me about 26 miles. She ran it with me that year, and I really appreciate that. I always remember that because that was a huge undertaking to say you're going to go out and run with somebody for 6 or 7 hours. But she and the whole mile 22 crew out there had a great spread. She had pierogies out there that I mentioned that I love those, and she brought those out there because I asked for them. Athletic Equation, Alex Papadopoulos and all them had pierogies, did all their races, and they were fantastic. And so as soon as I put those pierogies in, man, I was hyper again. Like I always say, it's like the perfect ultra food to me. I don't know what it is, the makeup of it. Obviously, it's carbs and stuff like that, but super good. That was key. Really appreciate that. It was awesome. So what I took in, so I always get asked this all the time. I'm going to go through this real quick. Soups and broths, awesome on cold days. The sodium in it was great, easy on the stomach. I had some Coca-Cola. It wasn't flat, so that was a bad choice. I hate when I do that because it really causes bloating. And I had major bloating again in this race, and I'm trying to narrow it down. I had some cake, red velvet cake. It's a big deal, and I forget what mile it is in the JFK, but I had some of that, washed it down with some broth. Yeah, it was gross, but I was just getting calories down. Try to keep moving through the aid stations. I didn't want to spend more than a minute in an aid station or less. I ate cookies, PB&J, predominantly fueled with UCAN every 30 to 45 minutes through the whole race. Kept my blood sugars level, and I think that was key in making me feel really good the whole time. I ate some goos for the caffeine in them, and Gatorade. Mixed up some Gatorade in there to try to. I was having a lot of hand swelling, and it's typically because I don't think I'm having enough sodium and electrolytes, but I was taking some pills for that, so I'm not sure if I wasn't taking enough. Anyways, super hydrated, peed more than I ever have in any race. I mean, it would continue through the night. Not sure what that was. So the bloating and then having the kind of the GI issues after the race was unpleasant. Just my system dealing with all of the food, because I told you I ate a lot in this. I made sure I fueled, just not big things, but I made sure that I ate enough to fuel my body. Never bonked, but it definitely played. It took some havoc, wreaked some havoc on my system. So after the race, I was obviously very tired. I was going to go out to dinner with the family. They had driven up. I was staying in a hotel to support me at the finish, and then drive me back to the start. And they did that, and I just wasn't up for going out to dinner. So they turned around and drove home. I went back to the hotel, ordered some food, pizza to the hotel, ate, and I just was super tired and exhausted. And after these races, I'm always really restless and don't get great sleep. So slept, probably 8 or 9 hours that night, got up the next day and drove home. I feel fine. I'm Right now it's a Wednesday, so it's been Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's been 4 days since the race, and I'm feeling fine. I can go up and downstairs fine. I was able to before, and actually the day after I felt like I should go run a mile. Didn't do it. Haven't run yet. Maybe we'll run a little bit tonight, like maybe a mile, just to loosen up. And I feel great. Tells me that there's more in the tank, that I can push more, and that's going to be part of the conversation I'm going to have with you all over the next year. I've spent a lot of time running a lot of slow miles and really not pushing the intensity. So I think I'm going to really start pushing a lot more intensity, and as I age, to get stronger and be able to handle running a little bit at more of an uncomfortable level, and to push myself a little bit more, and just change things up, see what it does. You know, I'm on here, I'm always trying to experiment and see what works. The race was great. If you're looking for a good first 50 miler, the JFK is an absolutely beautiful race. It's expensive, but it's easy. It's 13 hours. You start at 6:30. Tons of aid stations. It's well supported, well run, and it's just an awesome race. I look forward to doing it again next year, and I look forward to trying to do it every year. Typically in the last 15 miles, I'm always like, not doing this one again, not doing ultras again, and then you get over that. But I do know there's some things I can do to help improve my performance, being quicker. Like, I know I can finish the race. That's not a problem. But now I want to start finishing the races a little bit more quickly. And so I'm going to have to put in the training to do that. I got the volume there, but I need to kind of mix up my training. So we'll talk more about that in the future. Probably within the next day, I'm going to have the race footage up of the JFK 50. Beautiful scenery that I've got, and some Harper's Ferry and stuff like that. So make sure you watch that when it comes out. If you have any questions, post them below. I'll answer any questions you have about the race. Again, if you're looking for the JFK 50 to be your first ultra, do it. You will not be disappointed. That's all I have. And if you want to see some more race footage of the races I've had this year, and this was the 7th and final ultra marathon of 2021, so you can go ahead and click right there. I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Take care.